Greetings and welcome to the forest. I do a lot of different topics on this channel. The two most popular right now, of course, are music and the forest. So I'm going to cover both of them at the same time here. So forest lovers, wait just a couple of minutes. Music lovers, you're first. This is a big year musically for me with the Zulu Matrix reissue that's, I think, pretty much run its course now. If there's any left in stores, there won't be many at all. They're probably all gone by now. But there's new things coming. This is a big year. And I want to announce another one that's slated. 2026 is the 30th anniversary of two of my other projects from the past. One is Revenant with the album Emotional Outburst 30 years ago. And the other, and this is the one that I'm announcing today, is MOLECULON, which very few of you will know. It's amongst the most obscure projects that I ever did with actual releases. And MOLECULON was a project that I did with Rand Anderson, who, by the way, worked with me on my film, obviously, The Real and the Unreal. And in the soundtrack of that film, you can hear everything from Zulu Matrix to Revenant and MOLECULON and so many more. I'm sort of infamous for doing one-offs. All of these projects were all one-offs. So, with regard to MOLECULON, this is also the 30th anniversary of the release of a compilation CD done here in Ontario, in Hamilton, called Moebius Alpha. And it was all pretty progressive music at that time in '96, leaning toward techno. And MOLECULON fit right in. In fact, there's also a Revenant track on that same CD. So Rand and I are now working together on a new version of an unreleased song that we did back then. The one that's on Moebius Alpha is called Carousel. And the one that we're working on right now is called Astronaut. So that's something for you to look forward to. It's already pretty great. So anyways, that's it for the music fans. There's lots of new things happening, lots more in store. So stay tuned for that. So now let's get on to the trees. This is another of my mulberry trees. I showed it in the last video. It's right here beside the driveway. You can see the house behind me. And I've been so busy in the forest and in the studio doing so many other things that the other mulberry trees slipped my mind, especially because it took so long to do the giant one. And then I did that tiny one in the last video, right across the driveway from it. So I've got 3 more to do. This is the first of 3, and I'm almost finished. In fact, I think that that cut that I just did at the beginning of this video was, oh wait, no, it wasn't. It was the second last cut. I need to get this one, and I want it to grow, but I don't want it to grow so vigorously. So I'm going to cut it in the middle because I do want it to grow, but I don't want it to grow up. And as you might be able to see, it's pointing almost straight up. And so I'm cutting it right now with my extension pruner, right at just above, a few centimeters above the last of the buds that I want, and it's pointing in the right direction. It's pointing towards the opening, and it's pointing downwards. And so that's going to become a new branch, and it's going to go in that direction. And that's what I want. I'm only leaving that stuff way at the top for the birds. Everything down here is, hopefully some of it will be for me, and not all for the chipmunks and squirrels. Now, there's one thing that I wanted to show you that I'm going to do now. And that is, while I was pruning, I was doing some really big cuts that you might be able to see there. And I was thinking, well, you know, I should probably cut this branch right here and just leave this part of it here that is coming across. And as you can see from the way that I've pruned it, it's already starting to grow downward here. So I would just cut off this part here that's going up, and then this large branch here. But then I thought, this branch is so long, so very long. In fact, I should move the camera so that you can see better what's going on, because you're looking down the branch and you can't tell how long it is. This is that branch, and what I thought I should do is pull the whole branch down because it's such a long branch. And so, if I grab on here with my pruner, but not cut it, just pull it down with the mass of the pruner. So there you go, it's pulling the pruner up a little bit, but that's fine. But as you can see now, suddenly the shape is much better, and even this is all better too, so that the only thing I really need to do is get rid of the stuff that's growing on the tops of these branches that's pointing up, because I want this to only come down. So obviously I'm not going to leave my pruner hanging from here for the next year. So I thought I'll just hang a weight from it, because I don't really have any convenient way to tie it down here, because I have to cut the grass here and I have to get through with my lawn tractor, and it would just be a problem with ropes tying this down. So I tried initially, while I was doing work before I figured I'd make this silly video, to hang some weight from it. And my scale isn't big enough to accommodate this extension pruner, so I just had to guess at its mass. And my first guess was too light. But the thing that I was using, a heavy spring, easily fit on my scale. And so I then figured, okay, I'm going to double that. And this very substantial chisel hammer head is double the mass. And I think that that should be okay. If not, I have an even heavier one, but I think that this will probably get us close enough, at least for this video. I don't want to waste time with this. Ooh, that was loud, wasn't it? Okay, so I'm going to pull this down more so I can hang this on. And I'll hang it close to the end, because the further out you go, oh, see that? It's already pulling it down. But that's because I'm still holding it with this. Hopefully it'll spring back. Unfortunately, I skinned it a little bit with this, but not much. Oh, I think that's actually perfect. I think that's perfect. The only problem, potential problem, is that this could slip off with so much mass against that. I don't think this branch is at enough of an angle. So I'm going to try the next one back that's a little bigger. It's going to be further back the branch, even though it's only a few inches, it's probably going to pull it up a little bit as a result. Yes, see? But that's still okay. In fact, that's fine. And now there's no danger of that slipping off, especially once these buds produce little branchlets of their own. It's all going to hold it back. Hopefully I'm still in the shot. But anyways, it doesn't matter. You want to see the tree, not me. So there you have it. Now I'm just going to, in fact, for this, I can now use my hand pruners just to do the things that need to be done now that this is being held down nicely by this. So this one here, because it's still, well, you know what? I think that especially The other thing to keep in mind, actually, that I didn't mention in the last video about pruning the mulberries is don't be fooled by the shape of the tree right now in the early spring, in any time during the off season, because when the tree is weighed down by all of the leaves and especially all of the fruit, these branches are going to hang lower. And that actually helps to train it because it's going to be bearing that weight for a good month or so, in about a month or two. And so that's the thing to keep in mind here, is that it's actually, once it's weighed down with the leaves and fruit and new growth, it grows so vigorously. Like, look at this tiny little branch here. It's only about 2/3 of a meter long. That's small. The stuff that I've already pruned off of this, again, massive branches that grow, suckers as we like to call them. So, that being said, when I consider how much more this is going to slouch when it's doing the new growth and the fruit and everything, oops, I stepped on this daffodil, then I really don't need to prune it as much as I was originally thinking when I was looking at its shape. So keep in mind that the shape is going to change. And so bearing that in mind, I'm going to cut it here, because the closer that you cut to the end, the less vigorous the regrowth is going to be. So if I just nipped off only the leader, then it'll stop growing so vigorously as a leader, and it'll still grow, but it'll then want to grow these other branchlets out of it, which is a great thing to do, but it won't do it with much vigor. Whereas if I did it down here, in fact, I should have shot this video earlier today before I did all my heavy pruning. I could have shown you examples of ones that I left. I don't know if you can see it right now, probably not. I'm probably out of the shot, but if you can see it, this is a sucker that I left that I only pruned about that much. And I took the rest off. And what will happen is next year, those few little buds that remain on it are all going to send out little branchlets going sideways, and those will bear fruit. I'll show a close-up and you can see it here and over here on this branch. As soon as you prune it, it wants to make those little branchlets and they bear fruit. So that's what I'm going to do now to this branch. But I want it to grow. I want it to keep growing out and downward. And so I'm going to do it fairly close to the end, but I'm going to have it, again, end on one that's pointing down. So I'm going to go with this one. So that's really all I have to do to that one. And now I'm going to do the rest of it off camera, and I'll call it a day for this video. After I finished pruning the rest of the mulberry trees, I turned to the very last one, which is this new one that popped up right beside the house last year and got chewed by a rabbit. And when I pruned it, it sent up a new, very strong leader. And here it is now, 1 year later, and not only is it nice and big, but look at the color of its skin. It's very lush, chocolatey brown. I've never seen a mulberry tree with this color skin. I can't wait to see what kind of fruit it's going to bear. And the good news is, because I gave it a light pruning last year, it's already got a couple of branches that are producing fruit buds. Look closely at this one, for example. Those are going to produce berries this year. In a couple of months, I'm going to find out what this new, mysterious, fourth kind of mulberry is that I have growing here in my forest. Amazing.